I am Multi-Topic Talk. Welcome to this new video where we are doing the Season 1 overview of Black Lightning. Join our Discord in the description below to make the community bigger. I hope guys will enjoy. I will give my overall thought on all the plot points or most of the plot points that I consider important for this overview of the first season of Black Lightning. I am not perfect. We all have our own opinion. The first thing I remember from that season 1 is the fact that we forget about that season. So I thought it was mediocre at best. So coming to this watch, I was like, I won't expect much because I forgot about most of the show. I was wrong. It's actually much better than what I remembered. The story picks up with a old Black Lightning that retired many years ago because he wanted a love life with Lynn to have later on a family, and Lynn did not wanted Black Lightning to be a superhero. One day, Jennifer, the youngest daughter of Black Lightning, is mixed up with the Gandhi 100, and Black Lightning decides to step up out of the shadow to rescue his daughter. Now, you will tell me, everyone will maybe say it's Jeff. Later on the season, some people have an idea of who Black Lightning is. Anyway, season 1 is all about giving us the characters, giving us Lynn, giving us Jennifer, Anissa, and Anissa, the older daughter of Jefferson Pierce, as superpowers at the start of the season. And these powers were on inside of her for her entire life, but they started to awaken for some reason. I don't understand. I don't remember the reason. For some reason, because the show wants her to join the superhero team because she is a character in the comics. So, this is very interesting. At first, she does not trust anybody. Anissa is just doing her own thing, trying to find who Thunder will be. Thunder is her persona, I guess, her second life as the superhero. The second life of Anissa, basically. Anissa took the mantle of Thunder, and at first, she don't really know what that mantle will be. And this is interesting. It's a new hero that joined the story. And we also get Tobias Well, former criminal and the killer of Jefferson Pierce's father. Tobias had a lot of charisma, but sometimes it's very hard to take him seriously because he looks like more like a villain from a comic book than a villain. Like Malcolm Merlin felt human in Arrow, despite being a crazy human. The same goes for Slade Wilson or Adrian Chase in Arrow. They felt threatening, they felt like human beings that are just crazy, but you take them seriously. Tobias is using Arpon to stab people. He's doing all these speech to manipulate people around, and it's really hard to believe a person can be like that in real life. Um, he manipulates people. He is villain, and usually people that act like Tobias, people see through them. And I mean, anyway, Tobias is special kind. I mean, um, he has his own agenda. He wants to control the gang and everything. We also get the ASA, a group of people from the government, I guess. Not quite sure. I think this is from the government. And the ISA are the reason why meta-human were created 30 years ago. And a rogue ASA member decided to restart the meta-human program by testing some drugs, the green light, on kids to see how they would react and if they would gain any powers. So this was very interesting, and I say rogue because the rest of the ISA is not with him. The government never told him, oh yes, do this. He just decided to do it on his own. We also get Gamby. Gamby is Jefferson Pierce, a foster father. He basically adopted Jefferson after Jefferson's real dad died from Tobias N. And yeah, Gamby is great. Like, is that great character. He wants to do some good. He clearly wants to redeem himself from the experiment because as he was in the ASA in his past, he thought he was doing the right thing until he found out kids were drugged. Sorry about that. So he decided to redeem himself or try to do this, so he left the ASA. And during this season, we find out that he helped out Jefferson to become Black Lightning. And he also helped out Thunder to become Thunder. We also get the third kid, Jennifer. She got superpower as well. But she does not want that. She does not want to be a superhero. But then as the season progresses, she slowly understands her powers are not a burden, they are a gift. She saves Jefferson's life many times. She saved her mother. When there's action in the show, this is great. Now, why I found that mediocre at best on my first watch, it's because of the lack of action. Some episodes are very long and dragged on. Not that much is thing you remember. Now, the show as well, interesting, good writing. So, yeah. At the end of the season, the rogue ASA member dies. Tobias has green light, because reason. And now, let's go over to what people have to say. But just before that, I will give this season a grade. It's really hard to say, but it was better than Arrow Season 3 for sure. So I believe 7 out of 10 would be the grade. 7 out of 10 for Black Lightning Season 1 is well deserved. Some episodes are really hard to watch. Some episodes don't make sense. Not only writing point, but more on a more grounded point. I will get back to this as we review comments, as we cover comments of other people, starting by my own. Now let's go over to my comment. So let's read it. I hope guys will enjoy. I always remembered this season as being mediocre at best. I was wrong. So here, My most recent watch of the show changed my mind, or was more accurate to the true quality of the show. The first half of the season was very slow and sometimes hard to watch, but the back half was great. Outside of one episode where Jefferson Pierce himself is getting framed, corrupt cops are a cliche, and the story went too fast, and it wasn't realistic on a show that tried its best to stay grounded on a world where we have meta-human. Now, let me develop with this. I understand on the writing aspect, you need to speed up a few things to be entertaining and interesting. I have nothing against that, but there's a serious lack of realism. Um, it makes no sense that in a in one day Jefferson Pierce is from principal to his school to a drug dealer and then goes in jail without any trial and then has criminal record because they took picture of him. That makes no sense. That's not as fast as that. Now, I give them half a pass. I give them half a pass because I'm fine with them only spending one episode to frame Jefferson Pierce. This is a 13 episode season 1, so they don't have time to create a trial, then set him in prison and everything. They don't have that time with 13 episodes. But the issue, as I said, they pretend to be grounded, but that was not grounded. In real life, this is not as fast. And he did not even got the chance to get any lawyer, anything. So that pulled me off the show. That pulled me outside the show for one episode. So, yeah. It's not that big. As I said, I'm fine with them spending one episode on that storyline, but that makes no sense. Lynn started off as being one of the most annoying female characters in the Arrowverse, and by the end of the season, she's much more interesting, and she got more than only one dimension. The show is well written, for the most of it. The weaknesses rely on its lack of action and moment we can remember. I did watch the season as it came out, but I never really felt the need to go back and watch again until I decided to cover the show on my YouTube channel. As I was watching on my second watch, I felt like I was watching for the first time a few episodes since nothing really stands out. The show is average but easy to forget since nothing is really unique about the show. Tobias well have charisma, but he is not the best villain of all. He is very one-dimensional and sometimes he is hard to take seriously because he speaks and acts like a comic book character. People keep coming back from the dead, leaving the viewer not feeling any tension anymore. Music and fights are both really good. Actors are great. Writers are good, despite some flaws here and there. Rough start if you expect flashy action and flashy powers each single week. You won't have that all the time. Now, I must add to this, when there was action, it was well done. So, you see, the score is 54. It's not amazing, but it's better than most Supergirl season or Legends of Tomorrow. Let's take a look to what other people have to say. And I also forgot to mention that even Jefferson Pierce's life, the slice of life we get with him in the school, speaking to the students, speaking to the staff members, that was interesting. He had a lot of charisma and he was a hero with or without superpowers, and that's what made Black Lightning so interesting. This is the only standout thing about season 1. The fact that his school life is as important as his Black Lightning life. So I should have added this to my comment because this is interesting. So let's read out other comments, not the critics because critics are bad. Okay, let's read this out. This show could have been great, but as typical with the CW, they put too much political woke propaganda in it, probably the reason behind why it ended up getting cancelled. Now, first of all, it was not truly cancelled. They ended on their own term. Because I don't think the CW tend to cancel anything. I believe that some behind the scene issue were happening between Jennifer and Jefferson. So they were like, okay, let's end the show to not deal with that, only season 5. So I believe this is what happened, and I also believe that at some point the series was about to end. I think the first plan was to end the series at season 5, but they changed their plan because of behind the scene drama, probably. And also because maybe not just Jennifer actress wanted to step out of the show, but maybe other actors or actress wanted to leave the show as well. I don't know. I don't have that kind of detail, but I'm pretty sure it was not cancelled. Uh, it was ended, but maybe one season too early than what they planned at first. Because I remember before they were speaking about filming season 4 and 5 back to back because of the illness, and guys know it, the illness affected not really season 4 but the production of season 5, delaying everything around. So with that being said, about woke propaganda in it, I don't really agree with that. First of all, sometimes yes they push agenda, but if you read comic, I'm pretty sure sometimes they do the same. And it was not always down our throat each single week. Sometimes we had some issues, but for most of it, felt like it was okay what they were doing. Now, let's read the next comment. My friend was telling me it was good, and after the show first year, I sat down and watched it, and it was okay. Okay, I agree with that. The show had some potential, but what turned me off was that Black Lightning and his wife are absolute asshole parents who behave like their teenage daughter are their serf. It is ironic that a show that is meant to be emancipatory managed to the most reactionary piece of shit to hit Netflix in years. I don't really agree with that. I feel like I'm not a parent, but I know lots of good parents, and I also know lots of bad parents. And Jefferson and Lynn were not that bad. They were fine parents. Yeah, very possibly the worst TV show ever made. Dreadful acting, terrible fight scene. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Just whoa, whoa, whoa! You have not watched Batwoman, did you? No, now I'm being too harsh. You haven't watched Legend of Tomorrow later season. If you want a all black cast superhero show, this is your only option. That is its only strength, and there's something to be said for being the only game in town. Mm, so much hate, guys. I don't get you all. Do we watch same episode? This is bad and disconnected that I lost interest in first two episode, but I pushed to the end and I can say it's no good. You're being harsh. The writers are more worried about the political message than the show. It's a shame because it had great potential. I don't agree with that. Yes, sometimes they were pushing agenda, but the show remained entertaining and interesting. The writing was still very good. If they focus that much on agenda or politic or whatever you say you pretend seeing on the show, you are wrong. We did not watch the same show. Lynn as a character had a lot of character growth for 13 episodes. Anissa got a lot of character growth by 13 episodes because in one episode she chose to not help out one of the kid that was under green light effect because she was like, maybe I can make it worse, so I will go speak with Jeff. You see, if bad writing was part of the show, and Issa at that point she would have opened the box with the kid, and the kid would have died. Then you would have the lame storyline of the guild of the failure that we've seen too many times. No, instead, Anissa chose to go back to Jefferson and tell him, look, I found a place where they are hiding a lot of kids under green light. So this is telling me they wanted an interesting story. They worked on that one. And they were like, we don't want to give you what everyone gave you before. Now, another example. At first, Jennifer never wanted her powers. But then through the season, she speaks to Anissa, to her parents. And then at some point, after many speeches, many different point of view, she changes. And action also pushed her to change. This is good writing. You see, she saved Jefferson many times. She saved her mother. So she came to the realization she wants these powers. This is character growth. Now, let's read the next one. Season 1 does a perfect job in establishing the show. I won't say it's perfect, but I kinda see your point. Its story moves a bit slow, but the cast is strong and the tale powerful. Powerful, I'm not quite sure, but I liked it. Now, my end thoughts, as I said, 7 out of 10. Some episodes are hard to watch, but as a whole, it's good. Good writing. Lack of action, but good writing. And yeah, I hope guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you don't care. Anyway, nobody will see that crap because YouTube is dumb. Have a great day.